Today's training topic is how can you surface runway trends, key brands, and influencers from this most recent fashion month. This is our agenda for the training today. First, we already went through a quick overview of Trendalytics. Next, I'll show you all the Fashion Month resources that are already available to you, both on our blog and in our platform. Then I'll go into a demonstration in the platform itself. I'll give a brief overview for those who are new, and then I'll show you the exact places to look for how to surface runway trends and how to surface relevant brands during Fashion Month. Next, I'll show you a specific example how one of your colleagues from the Brilliant Sweater Vertical group has used these Fashion Month insights to inform her business decisions and communicate with business partners, something I hope you can take away into your own teams. Finally, I will show you how to sign into the platform, and then we will create our own dashboard together. At any time that you have questions, please don't hesitate to either speak up with the microphone or let a facilitator in the room know, and they can type in questions to me as we go along. So first, diving into what resources are already available to you. Well, on our Trendalytics blog, we post fashion recaps of each week during Fashion Month. So currently we have recaps of New York Fashion Week, London Fashion Week, Milan Fashion Week, and we actually just published our final Milan Fashion Week recap. In these blog posts, we highlight the top 10 trends that you need to know, key brands associated with those trends, and then highlight based on social media buzz, which are the emerging brands that need to be on your radar. These are available when you first log in or type in trendalytics.co on our website and click on blog. And here's an example of what those reports look like. So here's our most recent Paris Fashion Week recap. We'll give you a brief overview, highlight top 10 trends from the Fashion Week, and here what we're doing is doing the initial research for you. So by filtering out and looking at all the social media images through our platform, we've highlighted key themes based on trends we're seeing on the runway. For instance, lace, statement boots, punk plaids. And we've highlighted key designers that we've seen these looks from. So if you're interested in one of these trends, all you need to do is type in that designer. For instance, Haider Ackermann into our platform, and you can pull up all the social images from their show. Next on the blog post, we show you which brands had the top engagement at Paris Fashion Week. This is based on both branded content, so how many social actions the actual social media platforms for Dior had, versus how many influencers and bloggers were talking about the Dior show. This gives us a sense of the brand reach and who had the most popular runway shows. We'll give you key statistics and metrics, and then finally highlight the top 10 rising brands by influencer social buzz. So these are newer brands on the scene that have gained a lot of the share of voice or the influencer actions during the Fashion Week. Moving back into our presentation. So I highly suggest you start with our blog posts because we've already filtered through specific themes for each fashion week. We'll also be publishing an entire Fashion Month blog post in the upcoming week. In addition, our team has already curated and shared with you brand pulse categories to help you start in your Fashion Month analysis. I'll go through these when we do the demo in the platform itself, but here to highlight some key blogger categories and also brand categories for each Fashion Week. I'll also be sharing out this deck with you so that you have all of these materials on hand. Okay, so let's start moving into the demo. So this is the third main thing on our agenda today. Now we are going to enter the platform. So I will log in, and remember at the end of the session, I'll show you, those of you who haven't signed up, how to do so. When we first log into Trendalytics, what you'll see is my dashboard. This will be, think of this as your home page, and all of these preset widgets will be populated based on the questions you answer when you initially sign up. But this is all editable. Just really think of it as your landing page for the platform. Once you're in the platform, you'll notice there are certain icons that you'll see across each tab. So these represent the three main data sources that we look at Trendalytics and pull in for you. The first is social media. So this icon represents social media data. We're pulling in images and data from the 5 main social media platforms. That's Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, Instagram, and Tumblr. Next, anytime you see this green magnifying glass, that represents Google search data. So pulling in, this would represent the consumer demand for products, how many people are searching for certain terms. And finally, when you see a shopping cart, this is going to be pulling in over 19 million product SKUs currently available in the market. So this gives us data on pricing, assortments, and overall trends in the marketplace. Now there are two main ways to navigate this site. The first is using the left-hand navigation bar. We're going to use this whenever we want to look at comparison sets. We have 3 main comparisons we can look at. First is brand pulse. That's where you'll be looking at multiple brands against each other or influencers and bloggers. Second is trend pulse. That's where you'll be looking to dive into what key silhouettes, fabrications, or product categories are trending. For instance, distressed jeans versus frayed jeans. And finally, in Market Pulse, that's where you'll find all the pricing, color analysis, and product assortment details. The second main way to use the platform, and also the easiest way, is simply to start by searching. So in this top right-hand search bar, we can start by searching any name of a trend, brand, influencer, or even event. So I'm going to start off today by searching for a denim jacket. Simply a name of a trend. Okay, so once we've typed in a name and we found the chosen one that we're looking for, this takes us to the trend detail page. The trend detail page is a 360-degree view of a trend, brand, product, influencer. It's the fastest way for you to check, okay, is this trend increasing, decreasing? How are the social actions around it? What you'll first see on this page is a summary. So denim jackets is a growing trend. Online searches are up 67% compared to last year. Now think of that 67% as a sales comp metric. So just like you would look at your sales this year versus last year, what we are doing is looking at Google searches this year, last year. So this means this year, 67% more people are searching for denim jackets versus the same time last year. Indicates increased demand. Next, when you start looking down the page, you'll see on the left the top influencer posts in the last 30 days. These are ranked by social actions, which is this little number you'll see on the bottom left. So it'll show you which social platform this has come from and then the number of social actions. Social actions are anytime someone engages with a post. So shares, retweets, comments, that counts as an action. It shows us what's the most engaging content with consumers. Then on the right side, you'll see some global and US specific market data. This tells you where are people searching for this trend. You can see significant volume in India and Australia. You can use this for targeted marketing campaigns as well as inventory allocation. As we keep scrolling down the page, this is really the heart of all the data. Here we're pulling in market and search data for you. So the first view you will see is the brand view. This brand view shows which brands in the market carry denim jackets right now, how many products do they offer in their assortment, what's the minimum, average, and maximum price of those products, what % of the denim jackets are at full price, and what's the markdown rate of denim jackets at these different brands. So key questions you're going to ask yourself: are these brands aspirational for my customer? Are these direct competitors? Which market segment are denim jackets currently in? You can see the same exact data broken out by retailers now instead of brands. So key questions I would ask: are these full price or off price retailers? Are these in the luxury or fast fashion markets? Are they relevant for my customer? i.e., is this brand relevant to my customer right now? Next, you'll see the % of products that are currently at full price. So 72% of the denim jackets in the market are being sold at full price. This gives us an idea of trend health. So the higher the full price percentage, the healthier the trend, in that less brands are actually promoting this product or discounting to customers. You can also see in exactly which price buckets this trend is offered. So total of 750 products are between $50 to $100. Looks like there's a pretty even spread between the 50 to 100, 100 to 250, and 250 to 500 buckets. This will give you an idea of maybe where should I be thinking of pricing this product for my brand. Next, this tab is very important for understanding trend direction. So this is the search volume history of denim jackets. The gray lines represent the actual Google search volume. So that'll show you how many customers are searching for denim jackets. The blue line is an average that we've given to you that'll show you the overall direction of the trend. So the blue line cancels out some of that noise or fluctuations and gives you the overall trend direction. Denim jackets, as you can see, is a really fast growing trend. Online searches have doubled in the last 2 years from about 50,000 per week to 100,000 per week on average. What we can do in this view is change the time frame we're looking at by scrolling across. We can also use these toggles to look at the last quarter, last year, or the last 5 years, so the full life of the trend. And the last thing to note is that this screen here can show you any peaks in seasonality. So it does look like denim jackets have consistent peaks in May for when the most people are searching for them, but that's only been amplified as searches for the overall trend have continued to increase. The last part of this trend detail page is the social stream. Here we're pulling in that data from the 5 major social media platforms. These images are sorted from highest social actions to lowest social actions, which again is this number in the bottom left corner. It'll also give you the name of the account that this is from. So this post right here was posted by Urban Outfitters brand, has 86,000 social actions. When I'm in this view, I can change the time frame I'm looking at very easily. So right now we're looking at the last 30 days. I could toggle to see the last 90 days. So this will give me the top posts by social actions in the last 90 days. And as you can see, some pictures pop to the top that weren't there before. I could also select to just look at one or two social media platforms that are most applicable for my brand. Finally, you can scroll over to the Insights tab to see, this gives you a view of which influencers are driving the most social actions. So when we say social buzz, we're really looking at this data right here. This will give you the number of social actions per post for these influencers and brands. Finally, you'll see a snapshot into all the products that are offered in the market currently. This is just a window into all of the data that's available in the Market Pulse tab. So if I wanted to see more specific pricing and assortment details, I would then move into the Market Pulse tab. And you can order these from price highest to lowest and lowest to highest. This will help when you're doing product development to see, is there a general visual theme of this trend? We're seeing light washes, we're seeing lots of embroidery, even seeing distressing. So that is the overview of the trend detail page. Again, how you get to this viewpoint is you start by searching anything in the search bar. And at the end, we'll show you how to make your own custom dashboard, but just note as you're going through the platform, anytime you see this plus sign, that means that you can start adding this widget. By widget, I mean any sort of kind of image or graph. You can start saving these to your own dashboard, just like you would on Pinterest. So think of this as Pinterest for big data. But I'll show you how to do that at the end of the session. So now that we have seen a specific trend detail page, and I've explained to you the three main data sources that we're pulling that you'll see across the platform, we're going to start diving into our Fashion Week analysis. So a great way to use the platform to look up Fashion Week trends is to actually start by typing in the name of the Fashion Week. So for Paris Fashion Week, that would be PFW. I'll start typing that in and then select the right trend. So the search volume isn't relevant here because we're looking at a specific event that only happens a couple times per year. What is going to be useful are the social actions around Paris Fashion Week. So right now we're looking at the top posts from the last 30 days, which here is applicable because Fashion Month has just ended. This gives us a viewpoint into what posts drive the most engagement over the week. So we can see which shows people are talking about. For instance, the post with the highest engagement during Paris Fashion Week was a post from Rihanna about her Fenty Puma collection. You can see relevant influencers who are driving engagement. You can see Chanel has some of the top social actions. Influencers like the Jenners in the top. So this gives you a sense of what runway shows, what influencers were driving the most engagement at Paris Fashion Week. You're going to use this social stream to start recognizing specific trends associated with Paris Fashion Week and Fashion Month in general. You could select maybe just to look at one social stream, like Instagram. And remember before how I said you can save any of these images to a custom dashboard? Well, I'm going to start doing that here. So let's say I'd like to start, the Chanel show seems like it had a lot of engagement. So let's say I'd like to save a specific dashboard for runway trends, and I'm going to start with some Chanel images. When I click on the plus sign next to the image, this will take me to a screen which allows you to add your own dashboard. I'll simply click Create Dashboard, and I'm going to type in the name of my new dashboard. So, Fashion Month Trends. Going to add that, and then click Save, and that image will be saved to that dashboard, which we can go back and access later through My Pulse. I might start pinning some other associated images. From the Chanel show. Okay, so that's one way to start our analysis. As I said before, you can type in the name of any hashtag from the shows. So we just looked at Paris Fashion Week, and here's the page for New York Fashion Week and the top actions in the last 30 days. The second place that we are going to continue our runway analysis is actually going into Brand Pulse. And here we can start to look at sets of brands and influencers from Fashion Month. So click into Brand Pulse. If you scroll down to the bottom of your Brand Pulse screen, you'll see all of these categories with black stars next to them. These are categories that our team at Trendalytics has created for you already. They're both emerging and established brands that showed at each fashion week. The first thing that you'll do is you'll actually copy these down to your own dashboard. So let's hover over Paris Fashion Week, for example, established brands, and I will copy that. Click copy to save. And this means that I have added that shared dashboard to my own account. So now I can go in and I can edit and I can look through all of the established brands. Once you're brought to a specific Brand Pulse category, again, this is where we're going to be comparing different sets. And you can either look at curated categories that our team has created for you, or you can always start fresh with your own. But here we're looking at Paris Fashion Week established brands. So who are all of the big names that showed during the week? Again, we're looking at social media data, search volume data, and finally, product SKU data in the market. So let's start with social media. The first viewpoint that you'll see is the fan count. So that's the number of actual fans across all these social media platforms. I could, by simply clicking the names, select to just look at one. So for instance, just look at the number of fans on Instagram for all these brands. But fan count is what we call a vanity metric. So what we're more interested in, not just overall fans, is the actual engagement with the posts. So who's driving the most engagement, as in what are customers really responding to during Fashion Month? You can see Dior had the highest engagement as a brand. Chanel has the second highest engagement and followed by Louis Vuitton. When you scroll down, remember that all of The visuals that we give you for the charts are always backed up by the raw data sources. So below the chart, we have the table with the actual numbers. Here we're showing you the social actions or engagement across all the social media platforms and then the total. So what you can do here is filter descending to see Dior at the top with Chanel and Louis Vuitton following. This will give you a sense of whose shows you should be paying attention to during Fashion Month for significant trends. I can also start adding any of this data to that Fashion Month Trends dashboard that I just created by simply clicking on my desired dashboard and hitting save. Next, the most important piece of data that we actually want to look at are the visuals happening. So what's happening in social media in relation to Paris Fashion Week. Going to filter specifically to look on Instagram. So Chanel and Dior have some of the top posts. And what you're going to do is start scrolling down and highlighting some key images that are relevant to the product category, whether apparel or accessories that you're interested in. The main point is to start drawing out themes, and where you can start is start by reading our blog post on Paris Fashion Week, identify the trends that we've already bucketed for you, and then start pinning some images together related to that trend. So for instance, we have been seeing a lot of slogan tees in the market, so slogan knits. Here's an example of one. Here's another example of that Dior slogan t-shirt gaining a lot of social actions. And I can click more to continue down social stream. Here's another example of Dior slogans, but in accessories this time. And we can continue this way. So any time you see that plus sign and it's a relevant image for you, simply add it to your dashboard. Finally, you can look at the Social Buzz tab. Now, we've created these categories, as I said, for each fashion week, looking at both established and emerging brand sets. But as you're doing your Fashion Month analysis, a great place to start is also with our curated influencer sets. So influencers are those people who are attending all the shows, talking about the shows. We have lots of curated categories for you. The one I'm going to start with are influencers fashion editors. So if I wanted to start by scratch and find this template, I simply click on Create New Category. I'm then going to type in influencers to search for an existing category. I can scroll down, hover over the name of any of these sets to see which names are included, so which bloggers are in each set. Here we have influencers fashion editors, and I think this might be relevant for my analysis because fashion editors are the ones from magazines really talking about what's happening during Fashion Month. Okay, so here we're looking at a comparison of fashion editor influencers. You can look at the their post engagement. So which of these influencers actually has the largest reach or the most impact on these trends? Then we'll start looking into the social stream. So what are some of these people talking about? Obviously, there'll be some personal posts of theirs, but we'll also start seeing some key street style looks. For instance, here. And then also some key runway looks that have gained a lot of attention with the fashion elite, such as this look from Gucci or this Balenciaga dress. So I might start saving some of these images down. So the best information that you'll get from the influencer sets are what's happening in street style and which influencers and editors are really driving the most engagements, who has the most impact on calling what trends are big. Finally, let's take a look at a New York Fashion Week set of the established brands who showed at New York Fashion Week. Again, I can sort, I can look at their post engagement. And once you're at this stage and you've identified a designer that you'd like to see more information about, all you do is you simply click on their name. So for instance, I can sort here. And let's say I would like to see more details on Jeremy Scott. Simply click on Jeremy Scott's name. This will bring you to the actual designer's trend detail page. So here I see the top posts in the last 30 days from Jeremy Scott. And this is where you'll see the most robust visual imagery for each show. Now, when you scroll down the page, you'll first be taken to the official social media page for Jeremy Scott. So these are all posts that Jeremy Scott, the brand, has posted themselves. Start seeing the key looks from the show. So these khaki trench coats, this iconic look from his runway show, also some of the accessories from the show, even some of the models and key influencers who were there. Once again, we're seeing that slogan tee trend from Jeremy Scott. So I'm going to start pinning that to my overall Fashion Month trend dashboard. So these are the official posts from Jeremy Scott. But what you can also see are all the posts about Jeremy Scott from external influencers and bloggers. If I click on this second tab, that'll show me the social media mentions from influencers, where someone has either hashtagged or called out Jeremy Scott as a designer. So some of the top social actions about the brand have been from Kylie Jenner, Bella Hadid, the Blonde Salad. We see more of the key looks happening. So lots of pink. The same key look with the dress and the khaki trench coats. So this view will show you what posts from influencers are getting the most engagement and show you who's talking about the brand. You can also scroll into the Insights tab to see that same view of social actions by influencers. So in relation to the Jeremy Scott brand, Kylie Jenner has the most social actions per post, followed by Bella Hadid and Ashley Benson. This will give you an idea of the relevancy of the brand, how big they are. So obviously, huge show, had lots of social actions from key influencers and tastemakers. So once you've started identifying trends, and we've started a little dashboard collection, then that's the point that you want to start searching for individual trend names and validating, are they growing or declining? But just to recap for you, so the best ways to search for Fashion Month analysis are: number one, start by typing in the names of the individual weeks. Like London Fashion Week, these are the hashtags. Check out what's happening in the social images, what brands are gaining the most traction. Then move into Brand Pulse and look at the curated sets of emerging and established brands that we've created for you. You can go into the specific detail pages for any of those brands that have the highest engagement and see what kind of trends they're showing at their runway shows. And finally, you can go into individual sets of bloggers and influencers and see what are the trends and designers people are talking about the most. As you're doing all of this, you want to start collecting visual images into your own dashboard. So we move into My Pulse. I'm going to select the Fashion Month Trends board that I have been pinning to the entire time. As you can see, these are all the images that I wanted to save as I was going through my analysis. So this is an example of a custom dashboard. Once I'm in this view, you can start moving around and editing the size of any widget on this page. So I could start to pull together relevant trends next to each other. For instance, graphic tees, the Chanel. There we go. So let me show you an example of one that I've built out for New York Fashion Week. So here's a view of the established brands from New York Fashion Week. And from those brands, I've started to pin together some trend highlights. So for instance, saw yellow happening across a lot of the social imagery. Here are some key looks from the Calvin Klein show. Here we see another color trend of pink. Here we see some images for one-shoulder tops and dresses, as well as those slogan tees I mentioned before. Now the next step to your analysis is finding data in the platform that validates if these trends are growing. So how would you do that? Are starting to use your custom dashboard for comparison sets. So here I'm looking at the one-shoulder tops for slogan tees. I've pinned these widgets from the individual trend pages of slogan tee and one-shoulder top. And how I got there was simply typing in those names to the top right-hand search bar. So type in slogan tee and you'll be taken to that page. Here I'm comparing the growth of both of these trends with the search volume charts. You can see they're both growing trends up to last year with slightly different overall trend curves. Now I also want to start using a different area of the platform, Trend Pulse, to pull in some analysis of slogan tees and one shoulder tops, how do these compare in relation to the overall tops category growth? With this custom dashboard that you've created, there are a couple options for you to share this. So number one, when you hover over the name, you'll see this drop-down arrow. You can click share, and you can share this dashboard with any user in the platform simply by searching for their name. Once you've found the individual, you click on their name and add them, and then hit save to share the dashboard with them. Once you've shared it, they'll get a little notification on this top chat box that someone's shared a dashboard with them. They'll then see it show up here on shared with me and can edit it themselves. The second way to share a dashboard is actually just to email it to yourself. So this is a fantastic way to email something. From there, you can print it off. You can email it, forward it to other people in the company who might not yet have access to the platform. So I'm going to share it with myself, and I can send it daily, weekly, or monthly, your choice. You can always go back in and change these settings, but once I've chosen one, I would hit save. So that's how you share a dashboard. Your options are sharing it within the platform to existing users or emailing it to yourself. Now, I mentioned Trend Pulse as a great way to start comparing trends that you've identified. For instance, the slogan tees. So Trend Pulse is set up very similar exactly to how Brand Pulse is when you first click in. What we want to do is create a new category. If you hit on terms, then you can start comparing some of your own terms. So for instance, I'm going to create this set called Fashion Month Tops Trends. Once I've gone through the process of finding images of things that are trending, then this would be the next step to actually compare those trends against each other and see which ones have the highest volume and growth. So if I'm looking at Fashion Month Tops Trends, I might start by just searching for the name tops and then seeing what comes up. Here, what we're doing are adding terms to your set. So let's start with slogan tee. It's also seeing one shoulder tops. Maybe I want to compare that with cold shoulder top. And off the shoulder. And maybe I'm also seeing lots of lace. And yellow. And finally, pink. So what I'm doing here is I'm selecting the relevant terms. These terms already exist in our platform, and I'm creating a custom comparison set. When you hit save, this will show you the viewpoint of those trends that I just selected. So you can create your own set, or the easiest place to start is we've already created a lot of these for you to give you a starting point so you don't have to sit there and think of all the trend names that you're looking for. So for tops, we actually have one. If you go into create new category for women's tops silhouettes, I'm going to scroll down and look at my options, tops by prints and color, tops by material, and tops by silhouette. Let's have a look at that one. So what we've done here, we put together all the relevant taxonomy terms. Taxonomy, so this is all the trend names that customers might be searching for in Google when they're starting their shopping journey. Here I'm looking at a viewpoint of all the terms compared to each other. Again, we've pre-populated this with relevant names of trends in the market to do some of that initial work for you. The size of the bubble represents the number of people searching for these trends, so the volume is the size of the bubble. And then where they are in relation to this axis is the actual search growth of the trend. So again, that comp number of how many more people are searching for these terms this year versus last year. So I can see choker top is the #1 growing trend, but t-shirts have the most volume. I can scroll down and use the table to sort. And maybe I want to look at a trend that we identified, but I noticed that slogan tee isn't in this set yet. So any of these are just a starting point for you. What you can always do is edit them to what you'd like to look at yourself. The way I'm going to do that is simply hover over the name of the category, hit edit, and I would like to add in slogan tee to this set. I'm going to click on slogan tee, hit save. That has added slogan tees into the set. Now going to sort by search volume and find where slogan tees. So right here at the bottom. Still small volume, but it's a growing trend, up 28% to last year. But I think the most relevant trends based on the volume and the growth will still be off the shoulder top, cold shoulder top, turtleneck. So this is where you can marry what you're seeing in the visuals to the actual trends themselves. Now that you've seen various ways in the platform to surface runway trends for Fashion Month, I'm now going to show you some examples of how to take that information from the platform and use it in your own day-to-day jobs. Here's an example of a trend report recap from last Fashion Month in September. What we've done here are marrying the visuals, so the visual trend images from runway and social, with all the data to validate those trends. For instance, here are some images that we pulled together for cold shoulder. These might have been pinned on a dashboard together. So highlighting cold shoulder as a trend, followed by a screenshot of cold shoulder top trend page details, showing that cold shoulders are up 240% to last year, and showing the search volume chart as well. So identify a trend with the visuals and then validate that trend with the data. You can also pull in the top social media posts with the highest engagement related to cold shoulder tops. You could customize this to your department, so maybe the top social actions for woven cold shoulder tops or cold shoulder sweaters. Here we're highlighting another iteration of the cold shoulder, so specifically looking at cold shoulder dress with search and search volume chart. Again, these are from the trend detail pages. If you just type in the top right-hand corner of the platform on the search bar and look for cold shoulder dress. And pair that with social media. So that's one way that you could take the insights to report back to your teams or clients about what's trending. Second way is a use case example from an actual associate with the Brilliant Sweater Vertical Group in Lianfeng. She's found an amazing way to communicate with her design team as well as clients using Fashion Week data analytics. So first, pulling in a screenshot of the New York Fashion Week established brands who showed during Fashion Month. Then showing the social actions. So of the established brands who showed during New York Fashion Week, Victoria Beckham had 16% of the total social actions across social media. Pulling in some images of the top social actions for New York Fashion Week established brands, and then doing the same analysis with emerging brands. Pairing the social data with images. Seen here, highlighting some new emerging brands from Fashion Week, such as the Blondes and Camilla and Mark. Then pulling in some information about individual influencers. So this is a preset category for fashion editors, influencers. Pulling in relevant social imagery. And adding a couple more influencer categories. So overall, the theme for both of these examples is first highlighting, so finding the trends by pinning together visual imagery, then going in and screenshotting relevant categories like brands from the various fashion weeks or influencers, then highlighting the top social action posts, getting the most engagement with consumers, and then even diving deeper and highlighting specific trends within those, pulling in trend detail page information, such as we saw for the choker dress. Thank you for participating in today's session. I hope you found some valuable information on how to surface trends from Fashion Week. And now let's get started. So all Fun Group users can use this hyperlink to log in, which will be provided to you after this session. And then you'll go through a series of 5 simple setup questions asking you which department and categories you're in. And then you can go ahead and start building your own dashboards and doing your own fashion recaps. Once again, I urge you to go to our Trendalytics blog as a starting place and read our most recent recaps on all the fashion weeks, as well as our cumulative recap of Fashion Month coming out very soon this week. Thank you very much for your time today. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me with any questions.